what if the reason you understand people so deeply is because you had to, not because you chose to? Think about that for a second. Some of the most emotionally intelligent, perceptive people you'll ever meet didn't learn it from books or self-help videos. They learned it in environments where reading the room wasn't a skill, it was survival. Psychologists are starting to call this traumatic intelligence, and once you understand it, a lot of things about yourself or people around you start to make sense. Here's the reality. Trauma doesn't just break people, sometimes it sharpens them. When someone grows up in an unpredictable or emotionally intense environment, their brain adapts. It becomes faster, more alert, more sensitive to subtle changes. Parts of the brain like the amygdala and prefrontal cortex get trained early to detect emotional signals most people completely miss. And what you get is a kind of intelligence that doesn't look loud or obvious, but runs incredibly deep. The first sign is this: you can read a room instantly. You walk into a space and something in you switches on. You notice tension in someone's body, a slight change in tone, a facial expression that lasts half a second. This isn't some magical intuition, it's pattern recognition. Your brain learned early on to scan for emotional data because at some point, that awareness kept you safe. The second sign, you feel other people deeply, sometimes more than they feel themselves. You can sense when someone is off even when they say they're fine. You pick up on emotional shifts before they're even fully expressed. This is often called hyperempathy. It develops when you had to constantly track the emotions of people around you growing up. You didn't just learn to understand feelings, you learned to feel them. The third sign is how you respond under pressure. When things get chaotic, instead of panicking, you become calm and focused. You think clearly, you adapt quickly, you find solutions. This is something researchers describe as stress adaptation. Your brain got used to high-stress situations early, so now when pressure hits, your system doesn't shut down, it sharpens. The fourth sign, you think deeply about human behavior. You don't just take things at face value. You analyze conversations, you replay interactions, you try to understand why people act the way they do. This didn't come from nowhere. It was built from years of trying to make sense of unpredictable behavior around you. You became a quiet observer of human nature because understanding people felt necessary. And here's something important. These traits, your awareness, your empathy, your depth, these are not weaknesses. They are real cognitive and emotional adaptations. They show how powerful and responsive the human brain is. But it doesn't stop there. The next signs go even deeper into how this shapes who you are. The fifth sign is strong self-reliance. You don't depend on others easily. You figure things out on your own. You solve problems quietly without asking for help. This isn't because you don't value people, it's because at some point, relying on others didn't feel safe. So your brain built independence as a default. The sixth sign, you feel everything more intensely. Music hits deeper, pain feels heavier, even small acts of kindness can move you. This emotional intensity comes from a highly active emotional system. You don't just experience life, you feel it fully.